Hi everyone, I'm Mike.
And my name's Carl, and this is another episode of It's a Corepunk podcast. And yeah, an update from Artificial Core came out. I don't know why I said Artificial Core. Well, I was
Artificial
lagging this
core.
morning. Lagging.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it came out on the 11th.
yeah,
Couple of days ago.
entitled War. And imagine everyone's aware of the situation in Ukraine at the moment from Russia. So yeah, I thought we'd just discuss it, give everyone a bit of an update here, and sort of explain this is obviously this is the reason there hasn't been any updates from us, because we just thought it was sort of inappropriate to be speculating about a game that we didn't really know the future of at the time, and just sort
Yeah.
of it within bad taste, wasn't it? I thought we
Yeah, it would have
decided.
been,
So
we could have you know, obviously we've spoken about outside of a podcast, but I think until we got an official line, it didn't quite feel right to be speculating on something that is way bigger than us and also stuff we just didn't know about,
exactly,
at the
yeah.
time. So, but we did. We got an update on March the 11th, which is pretty good. It's, I mean, it's not a post you ever want to see because the nature of, the only time I guess we want to see war at all, I guess, is in a
Video game.
fantasy world
Yeah.
where it's not actually real and impacting real lives. But we're here. They've put a statement. We'll read through the statement
Yeah, I've pulled it up now.
and obviously cool. So yeah, so I'll just quickly read through it and then we can obviously just talk about what's in it. So hello everyone. Artificial Core is an international company with team members all over the world, especially in post-COVID times. Even so, a huge part of the Corepunk's development took place at our Kiev office until recently. In early January, at the risk of a full-scale military conflict breaking out between Russia and Ukraine was steadily rising, we decided to set up a new office in Athens, Greece. We were looking for someplace sunny, which you can't blame them about that for, and not too far away. After making the decision, we offered our team members and their families in Ukraine assistance moving there. When the war began, we set up an improvised support centre for our team members who decided to stay in Ukraine to offer them and their families help with staying connected, getting to safety if possible, and to provide mental health support to those who needed it. At this point, most of our team is safe in Greece, the Netherlands, Poland, Romania, Austria, and Norway. While we have offices in Athens and active offices, shall I say, in Athens and Amsterdam, part of our team is in Western Ukraine, which is relatively safe. Meanwhile, some team members and their families are still in dangerous central Ukraine, with slim prospects of getting out, at least for now. Several team members have stayed there voluntarily to help out and protect their fellow Ukrainians. Unfortunately, they have lost contact with two team members who are in areas currently under heavy bombardment. There is regular street combat and no cellular coverage in these areas. We are continuing to try to reach them and offer any help they can. Until then, they hope that they are okay. Many of us have friends and families traversing dangerous roads to safety, sleeping in bomb shelters. Meanwhile, the news shows us images of the cities we grew up being gradually demolished with 500-kilogram bombs as the civilian death toll rises every few hours. In conditions like this, it's been hard to focus, even for those of us in Athens and Amsterdam. Once you've done what you could and some time has passed, though, it seems you can get used to anything. Those of us in safe areas as much as possible are gradually returning to previous modes of operation. Sorry for staying silent right now. We're in emergency mode. It was hard to even sit down and write these few lines. We'd also like to thank everyone for the kind words and support. They mean so much to us right now. Don't worry, Corepunk. Don't worry about Corepunk. We're continuing our work, and the game is going to be great. Life is unpredictable, but you give it your all and you carry on. We wish you all peace. So,
Crazy.
yeah.
It's just like,
it's a why it's a, for, considering that only takes up a page of your monitor, like your screen.
yeah,
What the contents are in there is just something And I mean, at the end of the day, it shows how wide-reaching things like this are, because you wouldn't expect, you know, a little game developing company to be affected in such ways, and some of the things they've mentioned are just just beyond wild,
Yeah.
aren't they, really?
I think
Um,
I think it's great that they managed to obviously get ahead of it and get most of the team out safe in Greece, in the Netherlands, Poland, Romania. They said there. Um,
yeah,
it's horrifying that it's still members of the team out there, and there is anyone out there, let alone members of Artificial Core. It's just horrifying what's
yeah,
going on. But yeah, I suppose we've got to take the good bits from this. Says don't worry about Corepunk, continuing the work. I imagine at this point we can just leave any ideas of when a beta is coming and when, you know what I mean. The
yeah,
more important things, like he says, life is unpredictable, and I guess we just wanted
yeah,
to make this video to sort of air our points, air our support publicly, to sort
yeah,
of
definitely.
again putting it out there that you just take as much time as you need. People will wait. There are much more important things than a game right now.
Yeah, yeah.
And I
When
know that at
people's
the end of the day, they've spent their lives making this, and it's clearly they'll be way more passionate about Corepunk than we are, and we're just making a podcast about it. But yeah, there are more important things.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah, there is amongst it, like you say, though, there is positive, like things like they were saying. Obviously, they've been in emergency mode, which I don't think anyone's going to question that.
I didn't expect this. I didn't expect a public update from him. I just assumed,
No,
yeah, obviously things are going down right now. We'll hear from him in a year's time. I just, I just
yeah, I
I
wasn't.
didn't
Yeah,
expect it so soon. Like,
yeah, but that also does show. I mean, it's crazy to think, obviously, as far as personally, and I guess the world has known, this is a recent event. But looking at them saying, like in early January, the risks. So
yeah,
this is, for them has been going on
yeah, a lot longer.
a good couple of months longer, and but then like some of the stuff, like they've set up improvised support centers for to help people get self safety, provide mental health support. Like because like you say, Corpunk's their game, but also where they live and where they've grown up, that is currently being ripped apart in front of them. So
Yeah, you just can't
when
imagine it,
when
can
you're
you?
no, and when your livelihood and your childhood and your life, everything encapsulated, is just suddenly, you know,
Yeah,
um, yeah, it's yeah, it is what it is. But there are, like you say, the majority of them are safe. Hopefully, they'll be able to establish contact with the ones who they've not been able to. But if there's like, it's just the terms that I like. I also have got to say I appreciate the honesty. This has
yeah,
been Artificial's bottom line anyway. All this time is they've never been bullshitting. They talk about that, the fact that they've got people who living in streets where there's literally combat going on
yeah,
and stuff. So, yeah, the best of so all our supports with them, our
yeah.
thoughts are with
And we did want to
them.
highlight. We found a charity that people can go to if they did want to send support. If while watching this, and
Yes,
we know that the majority of our viewers will be gamers. So we found
yes.
sort of
So
a charity link that is sort of focused a bit more towards the gamer side of things.
yeah,
And
so
yeah, go on, Mike.
yeah, it's interesting. Well, you can see it on the screen now, but what's quite interesting is the how this has come about. Like you say, we are all gamers for the most part, and it does also show how far-reaching these events do. So as you can see here, you found this bundle, and it's a bundle created by game developers and people who have made various assets, games, and stuff. So we'll put the link in the description that
Yeah,
you
it'll
can
be on
go
the
to,
bottom of the screen at the moment as
um,
he's talking about it.
as we're talking. As you can see, they're nearly at their $5 million goal,
Which is
which
amazing.
is insane. When
Yeah.
you you know, they've basically, what it is you get over $6,500 worth of assets, games, books, various other things that'll all go towards helping people. There's a couple of charities they've split between, and there's some pretty good games in here, and there's pretty
Yeah.
good assets. I've been flicking through.
When I was looking, I saw, what was it, Celeste? Skatebird looks pretty fun.
Yeah, that Backbone I know was on, or is on, or was on Game Pass, and I know that's been received quite well. There was Super Hot. I know that was a bit of a
Yeah,
cult
great game.
classic. What was the other one I saw? Yeah,
Towerfall.
Celeste there, Towerfall Ascension, and it's got the expansions as well. There's just loads of stuff. So the minimum is a $10 donation, which for what you get,
I imagine
even if
people have
you only
donated without
used,
getting anything, but
oh yeah,
you know what I mean. I
yeah. Well,
imagine
the
like
you
people are
can
doing to
see,
charities, but yeah,
yeah, the contributors here. The average is about $14, and some absolute amazing person's donated $9,000 in one go.
amazing.
There are some questionable titles as well. We'll say
Oh
this
yeah.
quickly, like Thirsty Sword Lesbians.
Well, there you go.
It's a role playing story. It's queer. It's brilliant. Like, but it's got everything. I've seen some D&D stuff. You know, like how to make like worlds in D&D and characters. How to build a snowman. You know, like everything, anything and everything. And the best thing is like we were saying, because it is for charity. The two charities they've picked are the International Medical Corps, who have so you can see it, they have a very low fundraising overhead. So only 1% of everything they ever earn goes as dividends to the people who work there. 10% of it goes to admin. So obviously, there's an innate running cost, but 89% of the donations go straight to medical aid, which, if you are aware of some charities, they don't. The percentage of money that ends up going to places can be quite low. So the fact that they've picked this, and obviously medical assistance is something,
Yeah.
you know, it's not easy to come by, is it? If you know, in certain parts of the world. And then the last one is, you know, it's sad that this charity exists. I mean, it's sad that charity exists in its whole nature. The Voices of Children, which is a Ukrainian organization that helps kids cope with the horrors of war, PTSD, readjusting back to life post-war, living whilst there is conflict. So they set up shelters. They try and give kids a more kind of as normal of a life as you can have when, you know, such conflicts going on. And they've said they will split the proceeds between the two of those. So all these developers, digital creators, everything, they've all given their assets away for free. They haven't charged for this to be a thing, to be included in the bundle. So yeah, the link will be in the description. I know I'm going to go and purchase it.
Yeah, I'll be doing the same. Yeah.
Because, you know, if $10 isn't, you know, if you can afford it, and if 1 million people can do that, then, you
Amazing.
know, we're affecting positive change there. So that's really good.
So yeah, it's just been a quick one today, just more to sort of update and give just let everyone know that we've heard from Artificial Core. We'll hopefully get back to doing a bit more speculative stuff now that we have heard from them. We know that they are still focusing on the game, and the game's still sort of coming. And although there's terrible things going out, they are still optimistic about what the future. So
the last line in this thing is, "Don't worry about Corepunk. We're continuing our work. The game is going to be great." And I think for a bit further up, they were saying they're pretty much back to previous modes of operation. So
Yeah.
you know, they've done what they needed to do, made sure they were safe as best they can. And it's just nice that they've said, you know, they've not gone, hey, we can't do this right now. They're being absolute troopers and just, you know, getting on with it. And like you say, it does mean now we can kind of, yeah, like you say at the start of the video, it felt weird to be like, oh, should we talk about professions and you know, and
what could be coming?
You know, what could be coming. So now, but yeah, and we have seen you in our comments in our other videos as well. Like we've had some great questions. We had Wow Wow Woof ask about PvP in Arena, which we discussed. And then we had one since then, haven't we, from CSGO Technical, and he was saying, thanks for the video. It's a pleasure. We love doing this kind of content. And he said that he saw that on the Corepunk website they want to make it against pay to win. So the question was essentially, how are they going to make it not pay to win but still earn money, because it's going to be a free point of entry game. So that is something we're going to sit down, rack our little heads about, and we're definitely going to make a video about that soon. And obviously, if you've got any more other questions, chuck them in this one, chuck them in on one of the other videos if you've watched them, because they're good. It gives us
gives us something to bounce off, doesn't it?
Yeah, and you know, it's good to interact with you guys. And yeah, we're all here. We're all continuing to work, and we're all here for the love of Corepunk. So
that's
yeah,
it. Nice. With that, let's say farewell. Yeah. Cheers for watching.
Farewell.
We'll see you next time. Bye bye.